Welcome to our channel, where we explore the fascinating stories behind the world's most remarkable coins. Today we focus on one of Australia's most recognizable coins, the 20-cent piece. Introduced in 1966 after the country shifted to the decimal currency system, this coin quickly became a symbol of everyday Australian life. Designed by the talented sculptor Stuart Devlin, the reverse features a beautifully detailed platypus, an iconic animal that represents Australia's unique wildlife. The 20-cent coin is struck in copper-nickel alloy, weighs 11.3 grams, and measures 28.52 millimeters across. Its smooth, silver-gray finish and distinctive sound when dropped make it instantly familiar to collectors and citizens alike. Over the years, several minting variations and minor changes have made certain issues more desirable than others. In this video series, we will look closely at 4 memorable years in the history of the Australian 20-cent coin: 1967, 1968, 1975, and 1976. Each of these dates has its own story, from the post-decimal expansion of the 1960s to the stable mintage of the 1970s. Whether you are a serious numismatist or a casual enthusiast, understanding these coins helps reveal how Australia's minting history evolved. So, let's begin our journey through time, starting with the year 1967, a year that marked the first major production run after the introduction of decimal currency. The year 1967 was only the second year after Australia officially adopted the decimal currency system, replacing the old pounds, shillings, and pence with a modern system based on dollars and cents. The 20-cent coin quickly became one of the most commonly used denominations in everyday life. The 1967 issue is one of the earliest large mintages in the decimal era and remains a cornerstone piece for coin collectors today. The design of the coin remained identical to the first issue of 1966, created by the renowned Australian artist and jeweler Stuart Devlin, who was appointed by the Royal Australian Mint to design the new decimal coins. The reverse side of the coin features a beautifully sculpted platypus, swimming gracefully through rippling water. The platypus is a uniquely Australian animal, known for its duck-like bill and webbed feet. Devlin's design captures both the movement and the spirit of this remarkable creature, making it one of the most admired coin designs in Australian history. On the obverse side, the coin displays the first decimal portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. The portrait shows the Queen wearing the tiara that she received as a wedding gift from her grandmother, Queen Mary. This portrait was used on Australian coins from 1966 until 1984, symbolizing both stability and continuity during a period of great change. The 1967 20-cent coin was struck at both the Canberra Mint and the London Mint due to the large demand for decimal coins. This makes it particularly interesting for collectors because slight variations exist between the two mints. For example, coins from the London Mint sometimes have a slightly different rim thickness and a sharper strike. The total mintage of the 1967 coin was 63 million pieces, making it widely circulated and still relatively easy to find today in lower grades. In terms of specifications, the coin is composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it a durable and corrosion-resistant surface. It weighs 11.31 grams, has a diameter of 28.52 millimeters, and a smooth edge. The composition and specifications remained consistent for many years, a testament to the success of the original design and material choice. Collectors value the 1967 20-cent coin not only for its historical importance but also for its potential in higher grades. Circulated examples are very common and generally hold only a small premium over face value. However, coins that remain in uncirculated or proof-like condition, especially those with mirror surfaces and sharp details, can fetch significantly higher prices. As of recent market trends, such pieces can sell from $5 to $20 Australian dollars, while certified high-grade examples can command even more. What makes this coin fascinating is not its rarity but its story. The 1967 issue represents Australia's early confidence in its new decimal system, a time when millions of citizens were adjusting to cents instead of pence, and shopkeepers were learning new price structures. The 20-cent coin, with its sturdy design and recognizable image of the platypus, quickly became a trusted part of everyday commerce. Some collectors also pay attention to minting errors such as off-center strikes, double strikes, or die cracks. While most 1967 coins are standard, a few error coins have appeared in auctions, often selling for hundreds of dollars depending on the type and visibility of the error. These rare finds keep collectors interested and continue to add mystery to what might otherwise seem like an ordinary coin. In conclusion, the 1967 Australian 20-cent coin stands as a piece of history from the early years of decimalization. It captures the nation's transition into a modern monetary system while preserving its cultural identity through Devlin's iconic design. Even though it was minted in large quantities, its historical context and artistic significance make it a must-have for anyone interested in Australian numismatics. The 1968 Australian 20-cent coin represents the continued success of Australia's decimal currency system during its formative years. 2 years after the major national currency changeover in 1966, the country's economy had fully adjusted to the new decimal coins. The 1968 issue is often considered one of the more interesting pieces in the early decimal series, not because it is rare, but because of its distinct production details, smaller mintage and subtle design consistency that reflects stability in the nation's minting program. As with previous years, the design remained the same. The reverse side features the platypus, beautifully crafted by artist Stuart Devlin. His vision was to present Australian wildlife in a way that was both elegant and instantly recognizable. The platypus, a semi-aquatic mammal found in the rivers and lakes of eastern Australia, symbolizes the uniqueness of the continent's fauna. Its curious mix of features, the duck-like bill, the beaver-like tail and webbed feet, made it an ideal choice to represent Australia's natural wonder. Devlin's design, showing the platypus gliding through swirling water lines, gives the coin a sense of motion that still impresses numismatists today. The obverse side continued to carry the Arnold Machin portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, which was used on all Australian coins from 1966 through the mid-1980s. The portrait's smooth contours and youthful depiction of the Queen were intended to reflect both modernity and dignity, fitting qualities for a nation confidently embracing its decimal identity. One of the most interesting aspects of the 1968 20-cent coin is its mintage and production location. In this year, coins were produced not in Australia but at the Royal Mint in London, England, as the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra was still increasing its capacity. This overseas production gives the 1968 coin some subtle differences in metal quality and strike sharpness. Collectors have noted that many 1968 issues from the London Mint have slightly different luster and edge characteristics compared to coins minted in Australia during other years. The total mintage for the 1968 20-cent coin was approximately 22 million pieces, far lower than the 63 million coins produced in 1967. Because of this smaller mintage, the 1968 issue is less common in circulation today. While still not considered rare, uncirculated and well-preserved examples are notably harder to find, giving them a modest collectible premium. The technical specifications remained unchanged. Composition: 75% copper, 25% nickel. Weight: 11.31 grams. Diameter: 28.52 millimeters. Edge: smooth. This consistency was important for public trust, ensuring that coins from any year could be used interchangeably without confusion. From a collector's standpoint, the 1968 20-cent coin holds particular appeal due to its lower mintage and overseas mint origin. Coins in circulated condition are typically worth around face value, but uncirculated examples can reach between $5 and $25 Australian dollars, depending on quality and appearance. Proof-like strikes or those with brilliant surfaces are especially desirable, as they highlight the artistic detail of the platypus design. In terms of historical context, 1968 was a period of economic stability for Australia. The decimal system had proven effective, and confidence in the nation's coinage was high. The government focused on ensuring that the new coins circulated smoothly across the country, even in rural areas. By this time, the 20-cent coin had firmly established itself as one of the most trusted and versatile denominations, used for everything from small everyday purchases to vending machines and public telephones. Collectors also pay attention to errors and varieties. Some 1968 coins exhibit light striking on one side or slight misalignments, results of mechanical limitations at the London Mint. Though not common, such errors can attract considerable attention in numismatic markets. A clean example of an off-center strike or die crack can be worth several $100s. Overall, the 1968 Australian 20-cent coin is a fascinating piece that bridges the early years of Australia's decimal coinage. It represents both the country's expanding minting operations and its growing pride in its national symbols. The platypus design, paired with the regal image of Queen Elizabeth II, stands as a balance between tradition and modernity, a true reflection of Australia's evolving identity in the late 1960s. While millions of these coins were once in daily use, finding a bright, untarnished specimen today brings a sense of nostalgia and appreciation for craftsmanship. For collectors, the 1968 coin marks an important chapter, a time when Australian coinage was confidently stepping into the modern age, one platypus at a time. By 1975, nearly a decade had passed since Australia adopted its decimal currency system. The country had fully transitioned from the old pounds and pence system, and the new coins had become a part of daily life. Among them, the 20-cent coin stood out as one of the most commonly used denominations, large, sturdy, and easily recognizable thanks to its distinctive platypus design. The 1975 issue represents a time of maturity and stability in Australian coinage, where the focus was on consistency and quality rather than experimentation. As with earlier issues, the design of the coin remained unchanged. On the reverse side, the platypus, created by master designer Stuart Devlin, continued to glide gracefully across the surface of the coin. The dynamic water lines surrounding the animal create a sense of movement that gives the coin an almost three-dimensional quality. This design was considered so successful that it has remained virtually unchanged for decades. Devlin's work captures the essence of Australia's natural environment, simple, elegant, and full of character. The obverse side still carried the famous Arnold Machin portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, which had now become a familiar image across the Commonwealth. The youthful depiction of the Queen, with a calm expression and a delicate tiara, was widely admired for its artistry and elegance. This portrait became a symbol of continuity in a time when many Commonwealth countries were undergoing political and social change. In 1975, all 20-cent coins were struck at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra. By this point, the mint had reached a high level of technical proficiency, producing coins of consistently excellent quality. The mintage for the year was approximately 32 million coins, a moderate figure compared to the high volumes of the late 1960s. This ensured there were enough coins in circulation for everyday use without creating unnecessary surplus. The specifications remained constant. Composition: 75% copper, 25% nickel. Weight: 11.31 grams. Diameter: 28.52 millimeters. Edge: smooth. This continuity of design and composition reflects Australia's confidence in its decimal system. The Royal Australian Mint maintained rigorous standards for striking and quality control, ensuring each coin met the exacting requirements of modern minting. From a numismatic perspective, the 1975 20-cent coin is considered a common issue but still highly collectible in pristine condition. Circulated coins are abundant and typically worth face value. However, coins that have never been used, those preserved in brilliant uncirculated or proof-like condition, hold greater appeal. Such pieces are valued between $5 and $20 Australian dollars, with especially high-grade specimens fetching more in numismatic markets. One interesting feature of the 1975 issue is its metallic finish. Many collectors notice that these coins tend to develop a soft silver-gray patina over time. This natural toning is due to the copper-nickel alloy's exposure to the air and adds to the visual charm of older circulated examples. Some collectors even prefer lightly toned coins for their character, as they reflect genuine age and use. During the mid-1970s, Australia was experiencing economic and cultural changes, and coin production reflected these shifts. The Royal Australian Mint sought to maintain efficiency and cost control while ensuring durability for long-term circulation. The 20-cent coin, being one of the largest denominations commonly used, had to withstand years of handling, which is why the alloy and design proved to be so successful. Even after decades, many 1975 coins still retain legible details and a solid structure. In terms of varieties or errors, the 1975 issue is relatively stable, with few significant varieties reported. However, as with most coins, occasional minting errors, such as off-center strikes, die cracks, or planchet flaws, can occur. These errors are rare and can significantly increase a coin's value. For example, a clear off-center strike from 1975 can sell for several $100s, depending on its condition and the extent of the error. From a historical standpoint, the 1975 coin represents the maturity of Australia's modern minting era. The early experimentation and reliance on overseas production were long behind, and the Royal Australian Mint had become fully self-sufficient. The quality of its output was internationally respected, and the 20-cent coin stood as a proud example of that achievement. Collectors today appreciate the 1975 20-cent coin as a symbol of stability, a product of an era when Australia had found its balance between tradition and innovation. While it might not carry the excitement of a rare variety or a low mintage, it reflects something equally valuable: the enduring craftsmanship and reliability of Australian coinage. In summary, the 1975 Australian 20-cent coin captures a moment in. The 1976 Australian 20-cent coin represents another chapter in the nation's decimal coinage history, a year that continued the strong minting traditions established over the previous decade. By this time, Australia's decimal system was fully integrated into every aspect of daily life, and the 20-cent coin had become one of the most dependable and widely recognized denominations in circulation. The 1976 issue may appear ordinary at first glance, but it remains a fine example of craftsmanship, consistency, and national pride. The design of the coin, as in earlier years, was the work of Stuart Devlin, whose artistry defined an entire generation of Australian coins. On the reverse, the beautifully detailed platypus swims through stylized ripples of water, surrounded by the denomination 20. The platypus, a creature native to Australia, is one of the few mammals that lay eggs and has long been admired for its unique features. Devlin's design masterfully captures its smooth motion and aquatic grace, symbolizing Australia's natural heritage. His attention to texture and movement gives the coin depth and vitality rarely achieved in such small-scale metalwork. On the obverse, the coin continues to display Queen Elizabeth II's portrait designed by Arnold Machin. This image had become a familiar sight by the mid-1970s, appearing on coins across many Commonwealth nations. It portrays the Queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a symbol of grace and continuity. The Machin portrait was chosen for its simplicity and refinement, emphasizing elegance without excessive detail. It remained on Australian coins until 1984, making it one of the longest-running portraits in the country's coinage history. The technical specifications of the 1976 coin are identical to previous years. Composition: 75% copper, 25% nickel. Weight: 11.31 grams. Diameter: 28.52 millimeters. Etch: smooth. These precise specifications ensured interchangeability with earlier issues, allowing the coins to circulate seamlessly nationwide. The Royal Australian Mint maintained strict quality standards to produce coins that could last decades without significant wear, a goal that has certainly been met, as many 1976 coins remain in circulation today. The mintage for the 1976 20-cent coin was approximately 46 million pieces, making it one of the more common issues of the decade. Despite its large mintage, collectors continue to value it for its historical context and design continuity. While circulated examples are widely available, coins in uncirculated or mint condition have become increasingly desirable. Such specimens typically sell between $5 and $20 though prices can rise for coins with exceptional luster or proof-like surfaces. A notable aspect of the 1976 issue is the quality of striking. The Royal Australian Mint had by then refined its production techniques to a very high standard. Coins from this year often display strong detail in the platypus's fur and rippling water lines, indicating improved die pressure and better planchet preparation. This quality makes 1976 issues particularly attractive to collectors seeking well-struck examples of the Devlin design. In terms of error coins and varieties, the 1976 issue does not have many documented variations. However, isolated cases of die cracks, off-center strikes, or planchet flaws have been reported. These errors are rare and can add significant value to a coin, depending on visibility and preservation. Collectors of Australian decimal errors often prize such anomalies for their uniqueness and the insight they provide into minting technology of the period. Historically, 1976 was a year of relative calm and stability for Australia. Economically, the nation was adjusting to global market changes following the oil shocks of the early 1970s, and domestically, the decimal system was well established. The steady production of coins like the 1976 20-cent piece reflected both confidence and consistency in the country's financial infrastructure. These coins circulated widely in shops, schools, and homes, serving as a small but reliable symbol of Australia's modern identity. From a numismatic perspective, the 1976 20-cent coin may not be rare, but it is deeply significant. It marks the end of the first decade of Australia's decimal coinage and demonstrates the enduring success of the designs introduced in 1966. The Royal Australian Mint had reached technical maturity, producing coins of high quality and consistency that met international standards. Today, collectors appreciate the 1976 issue for its aesthetic appeal and solid representation of mid-1970s Australian minting. A bright, uncirculated specimen reveals the full artistry of Stuart Devlin's design, with crisp lines and reflective surfaces that bring the platypus to life. Even circulated examples carry a sense of nostalgia, a reminder of the everyday transactions and memories these coins once accompanied. In conclusion, the 1976 Australian 20-cent coin embodies the strength and reliability of the nation's decimal currency system. It stands as a product of refined craftsmanship, economic stability, and artistic pride. While it may not command high market prices, its enduring presence in both circulation and collection speaks volumes about its cultural and historical value. The 1976 issue, like the platypus it depicts, remains a symbol of resilience, uniqueness, and enduring Australian character. As we conclude our exploration of the Australian 20-cent coin from 1967 to 1976, we can clearly see how these simple pieces of metal represent far more than everyday currency. They tell a story of transition, craftsmanship, and national identity, from the early years of decimal changeover to the confident, mature coinage of the mid-1970s. Each coin, whether from 1967, 1968, 1975, or 1976, reflects Australia's journey toward modern minting excellence. The elegant platypus design by Stuart Devlin remains timeless, and the enduring portrait of Queen Elizabeth II reminds us of an era of continuity and respect. Even though millions of these coins were struck, their historical value continues to grow. They symbolize a nation's trust in its new monetary system and its pride in artistic expression. So next time you come across an old 20-cent coin, take a closer look. You're not just holding currency, you're holding a small piece of Australia's living history. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed learning about these fascinating coins, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more detailed explorations of rare and historical coins from around the world.